Well, hello everybody. This is the third installment of the weathering series for these Walthers Modern Loading Racks. Unfortunately, as you can see from this one, I've actually finished it. And so I was getting tired of the quality of this video camera, so I thought, well, I'll buy myself a new video camera. All arrived from Amazon. Fantastic. Big pile of junk basically. So yeah, it's going back, being returned. Unfortunately, just nothing I could do with the footage that I shot. So unfortunately, here is the finished article. So just to obviously complete this, I'll talk through what I did, just to demonstrate some of the things that I used to finish off here. So first thing to do is, often with weathering, it's just like, well, let's chuck some raw sienna or burnt umber on it, a bit of rust, and we're good to go. And what I would always suggest is really you plan again, like we did for the priming, and just think about how this thing would actually weather. So thinking about this, obviously you've got steps here for the workers to walk up and down, so we would expect to see some shiny stairs there through wear and tear with footfall. We've got these high visibility railings, but obviously if you're walking up and down here, you're going to be bracing yourself on either side, so these are going to wear. This ramp falls down on these pistons, so there's going to be some wear there. And we also got some piping and the concrete floor where there's going to be wear as well. Now, having seen these types of racks in real life and work in the oil and gas industry, these things are usually pristine, and any spills are taken very seriously. So that's not actually that good for us as modelers, because we want to tell a story. So in terms of telling a story, I'm going to actually, as you can see, put some spills there just for interest, if nothing else. So what I have done is I've done all the concrete bases on these, and what I've used is a makeup sponge, torn off these little makeup sponges you can buy from the dollar store, cheap as chips, and basically lightly dipped it in this Vallejo dark sea grey, and then I've dabbed it all around on the concrete to give it this lovely lived-in concrete type color. But then again, going back to, well, what would wear and how would it weather? Obviously, these iron steps and the gantry, you're going to get some rust from there, and that's going to seep out into the concrete. So as you can see, I've got some rusty marks around here, and basically that was achieved with Vallejo pigments. This one is burnt umber, just a small bit, and what I've done is just managed to give that a look to say, well, if there's water dripping down these things, then that's going to actually stain the concrete. So as you can see, we've got that nice stained look there. Now you can also see that the yellow handrails now have been toned down quite a bit. So what we use for that is a wash, and a wash is basically nothing more than diluted pigment. So basically your ratio of pigment or color to the medium that it's running in is actually high towards the medium. So you can create this with thinner for your chosen type of paint, or you can use the Liquitex medium, which we talked about in the last video. This one, if you recall, that that we talked about before. So you mix it up into a wash. I'm actually using this one from the Citadel paint range, and it's a sepia shade, but it's basically just a wash, and we can apply that then to the yellow areas to give it this worn look. You don't have to be precise with this. I mean, this is a case of whack it on all over. Doesn't matter if it goes onto the non-yellow bits, you know. And again, depending on how worn you want this, depends on how much wash you actually use. As you can see, just by adding this on, we're actually starting to tone down this, and because it's a wash, it settles in, you know, where those welds would be, where the welds would be on the railings. So again, if we just come here and start to build this up on the yellow handrails, you can see that we're creating a nice worn look simply by brushing over a wash and letting it pool, you know, in those areas where, and it'll naturally move to those areas where those welds where those welds would be. So you don't need to be scared of it. Like I say, the more wash you put on, the more worn it's going to look. But it is quite a subtle finish, and ideal using sepia on yellow. Now, other washes, you know, if this was just a steel railing without having been painted the high visibility yellow, then, you know, we'd probably use a darker wash, a black wash, and that brings out all the cool features, and it will complement your paint, your base painting appropriately. So very quickly you can see then that we've got this nice worn look on our handrails. So you don't need to be shy with it. Just think about where the railings are going to be touched, and how they would wear in real life. So having done our wash, we're now going to think about doing our dry brushing. So just go back to my one of my favourite paints, which is matte aluminium from MIG. Don't need an awful lot here, because now we're going to do some dry brushing. What we mean by dry brushing is we take a little bit of paint on our brush, and then we get it on a piece of cloth and get off almost all of the paint. And then we can go back to thinking about these steps and, you know, just the centerpiece here in terms of how they might wear. Yeah, so again, think about where our miniature people are gonna walk, and we're gonna be in this middle piece here. We're not going to be walking to the outside here. So what we want to do is just come to the middle where this ramp comes down, we're just gonna put that one as well. So we've now got the front edges of our steps just nicely worn. Again, your feet are not going to be on the outside, they're going to be here, down the middle. So again, minimal paint just gives you enough to just get that shiny edge. Maybe shine up this where this ramp goes down to the actual tank car itself. So I guess then our final piece here is, as you can see, I've actually put some spills, again reiterating that these things, you know, they don't usually spill, but you know, we're trying to tell a story here, so apologies to my friends and colleagues that work in these environments, but just out of interest, we've put some oil spills here in just to tell a story and for interest. And what I've used here is fresh engine oil, MiG 1408 from Ammo by MiG. Again, this is an enamel, so you know, when you're cleaning up, you need to be cleaning up with different thinners. But again, you know, you can build this up. It looks very effective for sure. Anyway, so there we have it. Hope that's been useful in terms of, you know, showing you some of the techniques and tricks that I use to weather buildings and such like. So you've got a nice effect, I think, on the concrete there, with the spills and the wear and the handrails that have been toned down. Yeah, so in the next update, hopefully we'll be able to show you these on the layout. Thanks for watching.